Hello everyone. Due to some people asking me if I could do tips and tricks, I've decided to do a full-on weapon tutorial showing each and every weapon and how to use it. As of lately, I've been noticing more and more of the weapon I've chose to do today. It's been used heavily more and more and more, and that is none other than the Retro Lancer. It was introduced in the beta, and it's new to the game, and it can be used very well. I don't use it myself very much, but it can be very beneficial. The second one is the Hammer Burst that I've noticed people more and more using. But I decided to do the Retro Lancer since like I said, I've noticed more and more people using it almost as much as the Lancer. So, we're going to get straight into it. I've got a video here showing me versus a bot of the basic layout of the gun, how it works, how it shoots, the execution with it as far as the retro charge as compared to the chainsaw execution the regular Lancer has. The layout's pretty much the same, except you do have a bayonet charge, which you press hold down B, and there's a little meter that comes up in the left part of the screen, and it turns red. Whenever it turns red, you can stick somebody and you impale them with your bayonet, and it kills them, which is really cool. The one thing about this gun, though, as far as its firing rate goes, it has a huge recoil. As you can see there, the bloom is gigantic. If you're strafing or something, that's really it just is really irritating. It's hard to control, unless, however, you can do feathering or burst firing, which I'll be explaining in depth as we go through this video. And I'm trying to give you a basic rundown of everything about this weapon. What I'm going to do here is be giving and showing a basic rundown of how this weapon works when you burst fire it. The bot is coming up here with a mulcher. Now keep in mind, the bots do get a damage, they do get a damage boost, and they do get a defense boost. He was using mulcher, and those things taken into note, the retro downed him almost instantly from that range. It usually takes about a second to a half a second if you're burst firing, as I was doing there, and demonstrating here that it usually takes about a second to a second and a half to down someone. The official time with actives is usually half a second. Time without actives usually takes no longer than a second, but sometimes it may if they're moving around and if you're strafing. As you can see here, I'm burst firing again. He is on cover, so he has 2 defense boosts there. It still takes no time at all with actives or with the regular, either one, to completely down him, and if this was a real person, they would be down and dead by this time. So yeah, that's the one thing about this weapon. It does have a very large, or not a very large, it actually has the highest damage ratio in the game, only second by the Hammer Burst. So yeah, that's the thing about this weapon. This is a mid-range. As you can see, the bot is throwing grenades and stuff, but if that was a person, you could shoot through the cover and potentially kill them full on. Now this kind of range, this is like a mid-range with a Gnasher. You can see it stands no chance. I'm slightly moving, but with burst firing and knowing how to use the weapon efficiently, downed him and killed him very, very fast. So yeah, burst firing. As I'm doing here, I guess I should explain more on how to do this. Burst firing is whenever you take aim with the left trigger on the controller, and then just slightly tapping it with the right. Now, as you're tapping it, you want to be sure the bloom gets no bigger than about the starting point. Usually, shooting off, you can do a count sequence. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. If you remember that sequence there of 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, you can usually just go, click 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 click, and you'll down them just doing that with your finger. So just keep that rhythm going with the weapon, and you'll down them in no time. That was more of a long distance shot, and you can see just using the burst firing, it downs them almost instantaneously. Here, as a picture a second ago, you can use this weapon in close quarters, as you would say someone had a Gnasher and you had this particular rifle out. You could just run in and fully auto it at that kind of range, at a mid to close, at a close mid range, excuse me. You can down them very fast, but if you're not, you need to do what I'm doing here and demonstrating. You need to feather it. There's the thing I was talking about the 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Sometimes you can do it a little bit more of a bloom, but for the most part you want to keep that sequence down. Here I'll be showing the 2 different things. Here is without any of the feathering, and here's with it. Now you'll instantaneously notice there's a giant difference. If you can't see that, I don't know why you couldn't. Left is not feathering, right is feathering. It's a major difference. You have to learn how to do this in order to use it well. I use this particular rifle well, and a lot of people that start this game out like to use this weapon because it is a bit more powerful and it can give you a bit more of an advantage over people in close quarters, especially if you're going up against someone who can use the Gnasher really well. That is the bayonet charge. That can be a very dangerous move. Any of the executions in the game can be very dangerous, especially if you're facing a full team of decent players, they can decimate you while you're doing the execution in the animation. Here I'll just be showing two hit down. Two hit down is for pretty much any weapon, but as compared to the Lancer has a chainsaw which cranks up, cuts them in half. The Lancer just has the bayonet and the bayonet charge. So the Lancer does have that advantage over the Retro Lancer. That's pretty much it for this video for me. I do have some links in the description of how to look up the stats and everything, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, you get some use out of it, and until next time, you guys take it easy and hope you enjoyed.